Good morning, everyone. In the last class, we are trying to discuss with our Hibernate example here. So using this particular main class, the Hibernate main class, we'll try to find out the Hibernate concepts here. So today we are going to work with another important concept here, Spring with Hibernate here. So up to the yesterday class, we connected only Hibernate example. Now we'll try to connect here, Spring with Hibernate here. So to connect with Spring with Hibernate here, now what are the changes we can write here? So I'm going to write inside this particular the same package here. Getting the point? Inside the same package com.spring.hibernate. Inside this particular the Hibernate package, we'll try to connect with our example here. And in the last session, we already identified here whenever we are trying to work with any ORM frameworks here. So we are having three main concepts here. So what are the three main concepts here? First one, lazy fetching. Getting the point? And second one, eager fetching, and third one, cascading here. Lazy loading, eager fetching, and cascading here. So we already identified here how these three main concepts are working internally when we are talking about the Hibernate concepts here. Right. Now, so using this particular three important concept here, now what we will do, we'll try to connect with our Hibernate example with help of the Spring here. Getting the point. So first we need to understand here several ORM tools here. They will try to provide the integration between the integration between Spring with the ORM frameworks here. So first one here, Hibernate. And if you are not interested to connect with Hibernate, you can go for the another. So for systems framework here, IBATS, Java Data Objects here, JDO, and JPA. So these are the ORM frameworks here. And in that case, we are trying to connecting Hibernate here, getting the point. So remaining the ORM frameworks also same. The remaining ORM frameworks also same. The configuration part. So once the configuration is same, now what we can do? We can connect with our application easily. Okay. So this is all about the ORM tool here. And here, so to connect with the Spring with Hibernate here, first what we need. And as we discussed in the last session, we already identified Hibernate template. Hibernate template here. Oh, so we don't have the particular Hibernate template here. So to find out this particular Hibernate template, now what we can do? We can go for the Maven repository. Inside this particular Maven repository, now what we can do? Spring ORM. So what is the version we are trying to connecting here? 329. Once we copy, now what we can do? We can save into here. Right. I'm trying to build this particular Spring ORM here. So once it is completed, Hibernate template. So here now we can understand here Hibernate template here. This is all about the Hibernate template we are going to use, but where it is implemented here. ORG Stream Framework ORM.Hibernate 3. So it is implemented inside this particular Spring Framework packages here. It is not coming from the Hibernate here. So it is specific to the Spring here. It is specific to the Spring. So with help of this particular template, we'll try to connect our examples here. So let's see. I will close others here. Now we can understand here what are the information we need to understand inside this particular Hibernate template. So first here, fetch size max result. And now we can see default constructor and parameterized constructor. So which is expecting session factory. Now you can see the session factory is coming from the where. So if you observe, the session factory is coming from the org hibernate dot session factory. And now if we go to the same package what we implemented so far, and here session factory, we'll try to find out the session factory here. Session factory org hibernate dot session factory. And now you can see here also we are having org hibernate dot session factory. So now what you're understanding is Hibernate template is implemented in the Spring framework, but with help of the core interfaces, so which are available inside the Hibernate here. Getting the point. Now you can see query, lock mode, Hibernate, and flush mode criteria, session factory. Getting the point. So we already identified these are the main interfaces here. These are the main interfaces we already identified here. Okay, so we'll focus here after this particular constructor, what are the information we are having. And here we are having one more constructor, so which is expecting here allow create here. So what exactly this particular allow create is going to provide. And so this particular allow create, if a non-transaction session should be created, getting the point, there is no non-transactions information. And the transactional session can be found for the current thread here. So whenever we are making this particular allow create true, what will happen internally? So if any non-transaction create like identifier in the current example, so the Spring what it will do, it will create the transaction session that is going to associate with our current thread here. So it's nothing but it will create one transaction and is going to associate with our current thread here. So it's going to provide the information regarding our allow create here. So now observe, so this is all about the allow method, and so remaining some methods we are having here. Some methods we are having here. So cache queries and reasons here. We already identified the reasons here, which size, max result, getting the point. And here we'll call it as a execute here. So we'll call it as a execute here. So how exactly this particular execute is going to work, we'll understand here. And now you can see, so which is running internally transactions here. So based on this particular example, this particular do execute here is going to run on the transaction. So we'll discuss about the transaction information later. Okay, so back to here, we identify the Hibernate template here. So Hibernate, with help of this particular Hibernate template, we'll try to connect our example. Okay, and along with this, now how we can configure the particular Hibernate template here. How we can configure the Hibernate template here. So to configure this particular Hibernate template here, now what are the steps we need to write? So where is the mapping file we implemented? The JDBC. So we discussed about the application dot JDBC dot XML file, and for Hibernate also I'm going to create Hibernate dot, what is the file we can specify here? Application dot XML. Okay. Now, if you observe carefully, so previously we connected with our JDBC template. Now, what we are going to write here? We'll try to connect with our Hibernate related information. And so the person related example we already identified here. The person related example we already identified here. Simply, we'll try to connect with our employee related information. So here we are having employee information here, and inside this particular employee information, now what we can do? Private ID, name of the employee, and so employee code here, and we'll try to connect with our another parameter here, like another property. So employee code and job role, right? So these are the properties we are having inside this particular employee, and with the help of this particular employee, now what we are going to write here? We'll generate setters and getters here. So this is a way we can generate the particular employee object here, and so once we set this particular employee information, now what we can do? We'll create our service classes here. Employee service. So what we will write here? So save employee. Update employee. And here long ID. Long ID. Right? And public here, delete employee. For delete also, we can provide long ID. These are the 4 methods. From the person service, we'll try to connect our application with person DAO. Sorry, employee. Employee DAO. Inside this particular employee DO will define like this here. And I'm going to create one class here. Employee service IMPL. Okay, so employee service IMPL, it's created here. Getting the point. Now, after employee service IMPL, what we will do, we'll try to connect with our employee DO IMPL. Employee DO IMPL here, I want to write here employee DO, the interface information, and this is all about the employee DO IMPL. Now you can see here we created employee DO and here we created employee service IMPL. Getting the point. So these are the two classes we created here by implementing employee service and sorry, both the classes are implemented by DO only. We need to implement from the service here. Right. And after implementing this particular service, now what we can do? So we need to connect with our template class. So what is the template we are using here? The template we are working with the Hibernate template here. So this particular template we are going to work. Right. Now what we can do with help of this particular template here. So what are the steps we can define? But internally, if we observe, Hibernate template is expecting session factory. Hibernate template is expecting session factory here. But when we are trying to discuss with our normal Hibernate here, so we did not create a Hibernate information in our configuration file. So if you observe carefully, application.properties and Hibernate.properties here. Now observe here, Postgres servers, these are only database information. These are only database information here. So there is no session factory related information. But if you see inside this particular Hibernate template internally, which is expecting session factory, Now what we can do? First we need to create an object of this particular Hibernate template, and later we need to create an object of this particular session factory. And internally, the session factory is a interface here. Session factory is a interface. Now we need to focus on the implementation class. So what is a implementation class of this particular session factory? Local session factory bean. Correct the point. Local session factory bean. So with help of this particular Hibernate 3, we'll try to connect with our this particular class here. So if I'm going to open, so which is expecting like extending this particular class here. But now if you observe, so somewhere this particular class is implementing from the session factory only. Somewhere, so it will implement from the session factory. Okay, so anyway, we identified it is implementing from the session factory. Now what are the information we are having? So first one, something called data source here, transaction manager, and here, so cache provider here. Now you can observe how many properties we are having here. So now you can see config location, mapping resource, mapping location, getting the point, mapping jar location, Hibernate properties, JTA. So these are the properties we are having here. These are the the properties we are having here. So with help of this particular properties, what now, so what we are going to write here? We'll try to configure the local session factory B. Right. Okay, so to configure this particular local session factory B, first we need to move on to the employee DOI MPL. And here, which is expecting here, provide Hibernate template. Getting the point? Hibernate template here. So this is all about this particular Hibernate template here. Right. Now, so what we can do? Here we need to provide the injection here. So how, like, which way we want to convert here? Either the setter injection or constructor injection here. Now what we can do? We can provide so those information here. Okay. So set template. Okay, sorry. So we cannot work for the template here. We need to work for the Hibernate template. Okay. Now we provided the setter injection here. We provided the setter injection here. So this is all about the Hibernate template. Now what are the steps we need to write? So first we need to define the employee service. From the employee service here, we'll try to connect with our employee DO. So let me go to the employee service IMPL here. Employee DO and employee DO. Getting the point? Employee DO and employee DO. So with help of this particular employee DO, now what I will do, I will generate the setter here. The setter section here. So this is all about the employee service IMPL internally, which is expecting the property here, employee DO. Now first what we will do, we'll try to configure the employee service here. So to configure this particular employee service, now what are the steps we need to write? Go to our configuration file, and here employee service here, and employee service is available inside which package here? The package we are having here, spring.com.spring.hibernate here. Getting the point? Hibernate. And employee service IMPL. Right. So employee service IMPL we created. And internally, so what is the DO class is expecting here? Employee DO. Employee DO. And so we need to change here employee DO. So what is the package we are having here? com.spring.hibernate here. Now finally, we need to connect our employee DO MPL. And internally, which is expecting here Hibernate template. Internally, so which is expecting Hibernate template. So here we'll create a Hibernate template. Hibernate template. So Hibernate template is available inside the which package here? This particular package is important here. Hibernate 3, Hibernate template. But internally, it is not expecting data source here. So what is the object is expecting internally? Getting the point? What is the object is expecting here? Something called session factory. Getting the point? Session factory is expecting this. Now, here, what are the steps we need to write? Here we need to define the session factory here. Here we need to define the session factory here. So how we can define this particular session factory here? So to define this particular session factory, first what we can do? Bean ID session factory and class here. So what is the class we are having here? So this is all about the class we are trying to work here, something called org spring framework.orm.hibernate3. Local session factory bean. So now we created this particular bean. Okay. So once we created this particular bean, internally, so what we need to provide here? Session factory internally, which is going to expect as a property here, data source here. Property here, data source here. So first I want to copy the data source section. Right? So we define one property. And one more property we need to write here. Basically, because Hibernate is going to create an object like a tables automatically. So to create a table automatically, now what are the steps we need to write? Getting the point. So if you observe this particular session factory is expecting mapping related information. Why we need to provide the mapping related information? So because now what we are trying to write here, we'll try to, like Hibernate is going to create a table automatically here. So to create a table automatically, we need to define the HBM file, and along with creating the table, so we can work with Hibernate query language queries here. So if we are not providing HBM file, we cannot work on the HQL Hibernate queries here. Getting the point. So this we need to understand carefully. Okay, so to provide the mapping information, now what we can do? To provide the particular mapping information, now what we can do? So here we need to work on the particular data source, and we need to provide the one more information here. So that is called property name. We'll go to the local session factory bean. Inside this particular local session factory bean, okay, observe here now what we are doing here, local session factory bean, and the local session factory bean internally, which is expecting mapping resource here. Mapping resource here. So instead of providing mapping resource here, now what we can do, we can provide mapping locations here. So the location is going to provide here where this particular mapping files are available. So this is only the difference between mapping resource and mapping location. And so finally, we are not going to work with the mapping location, cacheable mapping location, and mapping jar location, and directory location, because so directories and jars and cacheable by default is going to handle by the Hibernate here. So finally, we need to work on the Hibernate properties here. So mapping resource first, and later Hibernate properties here. So these are the two sections we'll try to connect here. I'm trying to copy the mapping resource here. Right. So once we copy this particular mapping resource here, now what we can do? Because mapping resource is expecting array of values. Mapping resource is expecting array of values. How many the HBM files you are having? All the HBM files we can define inside this particular property. I'm trying to work with a list here, and internally I want to work on the value here. I want to work on the value. Now what we will do, we'll create a one mapping document here. So what is the mapping document we can create here? XML file employee.hbm.xml. Employee.hbm.xml. Okay. So this is all about the employee.hbm.xml. What we will do, we'll try to copy the user information mapping document into employee, and here what is the class we are having here? And so table we are having here user. Sorry, not user. Employee. And so user ID. So we are not going to work for the user ID. Employee ID. And what are the properties we are having? The property here, name here. And string here. EMP code. And finally, where is the employee.java? Employee code job role. And oh sorry, this is not a one-to-one here. Property. Here we need to work on the, so one more property, something called job role. Right? This is all about the employee mapping file here. Employee mapping file. So where we need to specify this particular employee mapping file here? Inside this particular value, we need to specify. So what is the mapping file name? Employee dot employee.hbm.xml. Getting the point. And finally, what we can do, if we want to work with any Hibernate properties here, we can go for the Hibernate properties. So we'll see the Hibernate properties we already provided inside this particular property file. So here, what are the Hibernate properties we are having here? So these are the Hibernate properties, only these three, because these are the database related information. The database related information we already provided inside this particular data source here. Now what we can do, we'll try to connect with our Hibernate properties. So property name. To work on the property name, what we can do, copy this particular property. So now you can see here we are having properties object. So here we are having string here. So carefully see the difference between how this particular object is expecting here. right? So this is expecting string and Hibernate property is expecting property. So when the Hibernate property is expecting property is here, now how we can write here? This is all about the property, and here we can go for the props here. So this particular props we already discussed in our previous example. When we are trying to work on the Spring Core collection of objects here, how we can work for the collection of objects here. So this is the way we can define the particular collection of objects here. Okay. So now inside this particular props here, we need to define the prop here. What is the key? So what is the key we need to specify? To specify the key, we need to copy this. To specify the key, we need to copy hibernate.hbm2ddl, and here what we can specify? Update here. So we are having 3 files here. True. And finally, so what is our default schema we are using here? HB. Right? So this is all about the simple mapping to integrate with Spring with Hibernate here. So to integrate Spring with Hibernate here, what are the changes we made here? So first we added one jar here. Getting the point. So first we added the ORM related jar here. So ORM related jar we added here. So once we add this particular Spring ORM here, now we are able to work with the Hibernate template here. Hibernate template internally, which is going to connect with our session factory, right? So now we created some of the service classes and DO classes. So employee is our model class, right? Employee DO is the interface. Employee DO is our implementation class, so which is implementing from the DO, and service IMPL. Okay, and now what we can do here, right? So these are the main configuration we provided. All the information we provided into this particular application.properties file. Getting the point. So now to run this particular example, what we can do? Getting the point. So to run this particular example, first we need to create one more main class here. What is a main class we can create here? Something called Spring Hibernate main. So when we are trying to work on for this particular Spring Hibernate main, what we can do? So which object we can load here? Application context here. Application context here. And here we can go for the file system. So why I'm going here? Because the file we provided inside the package level, not for the source directory here. So when we are trying to work for the class path application context here, so we need to define the application file in our source directory. And if it is not available, so we are going to get a file not found exception here. But when we are trying to work for the file system here, just we can specify the file where exactly it is located here. Okay, so file system XML application context here. Now we need to provide the config location. So this is all about our file here. I want to copy this particular path here. I want to copy right. we created this particular application context here. So later, now what are the steps we can write? What are the steps we can write? So first we'll create here employee service object. Service is equals to employee service. And here emp dot name of the employee. The name of the employee here we are having Hibernate here. Employee code. And here HB some code here. This is all about the employer code here. Job role here. The role we are having here getting the point. Service dot save employee and employee here. Oh sorry. We are having only EMP. Right? So this is all about the particular employee object here. With help of this particular application context, we are loading an object here. And we are creating an employee object. Once we created here, we are trying to save the particular employee record into the database here. So we'll observe if everything goes successfully here, the particular record is going to inserted into the database here. So any, okay, employee HBM.xml is not loading here. Okay, so to load here, where we created here. Let me copy into the source directory. Basically, in the source directory, is trying to load. Okay, now again I'm trying to load. Okay, if you observe here we are not getting any exceptions here. But now what you are understanding here, whether this particular record is saved into the database or not. So to understand this particular database information, now what we can do, first we need to find out any exception in our console. So there is no exception in our console here. All are the just information here. So table not found employee, table not found employee. Getting the point. Schema update complete here. Schema update complete. Now what happened here? So if I'm going to run hb dot the data is not stored here. So why the data is not stored here? So if you observe carefully here, in the employee service IMPL, we did not provide the references here. So here, what we are doing here, just we are returning null here. We did not implemented the code here. Getting the point. Now what we can do, here we need to write here. Okay. and employee DY MPL. With help of this particular Hibernate template here, save object entity. Employee, right? And serializable. So it is trying to returning the serializable ID. Now what we can do, this particular save it not equals null. Right? So insertion failed. Insertion failed. Okay. So this is all about the message I want to return. Where we can go for the Spring Hibernate main class here. Inside this particular Spring Hibernate main class here, this out here, save. Okay. Now observe, if I'm going to run the same example, so how it's going to run. Now you can see next value, insert into employee, and successfully inserted employee record into the database here. Getting the point. So this is very important here, the integration of Spring with Hibernate here. Spring with Hibernate here. So to work on this particular Spring with Hibernate here, what are the changes we made here? So sequence number is generated in the previous example for 1, and now for this particular ID is generated as a 2. And employee name Hibernate, employee code HB, and so something called the role junior developer here. So this is the way the data we can insert here, and we'll try to insert multiple records here. So Spring here, we need to work on the ID, some different here. So Spring here, we are having senior developer. Okay. So the Spring also recorded inserted here. And one more here. Now what are the steps we can write here? And another one here. Spring underscore Hibernate. And here lead developer. So I want to insert 3 records here. The 3 records are inserted here. Now you can see 2, 3, 4. Getting the point. So this is all about the particular Hibernate with Spring here. So any questions here? Anyone having any questions regarding our integration concept here? Okay. If you don't have anything, now what will do? So why HB.employee? Basically here, we already discussed in the previous example. Whenever we want to create the table in the specified schema, we need to provide here the HB here. HB is the default schema here. Okay. So this particular schema is going to differentiate the same table in a different schema. So for example, the employee table is already available in the some different schema. So different schema is nothing but something called HB2. Getting the point? The R Spring and Hibernate SH. Getting the point? The employee table is already available inside the Spring and Hibernate schema. But now I want to create the same table here. I want to create same table, but I cannot create the same table in the same schema. To differentiate the table, we can go for the schemas here. So in the real-time application, we'll create a multiple schemas here. So just I'm providing a how we can create the schema here. The same configuration we are going to use in our real-time applications here. Okay, so one more. So in the service IMPL, just we are providing only the database related information. So we are not providing any information. Just it is the dependency injection we are having employee DAO, and with the help of this particular employee DAO, we are calling the save employee method. So just it is like a JDBC template, how we use the same example we are working here. So mainly we need to focus here configuration here. So the calling everything we already identified here. So from the service to DAO we are calling here. Basically how it's going to call here. We try to write the this is all about our main class, and this is our service class, and this is our DAO class, and this is all about our database here. So now from the main class here, now what I'm doing is, so employee service class we are loading with help of the getBean method, and from the getBean method, what we are doing is we are calling service object here. So this is our main class here. Getting the point? So this is our main class here. From the main class, now what we are doing is we are calling employee service here. Employee service. So from the employee service, what we will do, we'll call the employee DAO. We'll call employee DAO. And from the employee DAO, now what we are doing is we are calling Hibernate template. Right? Hibernate template internally, it is calling session factory. Hibernate template internally, it is calling session factory. Session factory internally calling data source. So along with the data source here, it will try to find out the other mapping information. What are the other mapping information we are having? Something called mapping resource, Hibernate properties. Hibernate properties here. Yes. So here, if you observe, difference between here, Hibernate template, sorry, JDBC template is not a ORM tool here. Hibernate template is a ORM tool here. With the help of the ORM functionality, the Spring is implemented, Hibernate template. The changes we cannot find in a JDBC template here. So directly, the JDBC template is expecting data source object here. And when we are trying to work for the JDBC template, we cannot run the Hibernate queries inside the JDBC template. So we need to work on the structure query related queries here, right? And we need to create the table manually. Getting the point? And here, inside this particular Hibernate, what are the advantages we are getting here? So we can go for the lazy loading and eager fetching, and we can go for the cascading here. Getting the point? And we can go for the Hibernate query language. HPL is going to support it, right? The tables are going to create it here, and we are having different schemas here. Getting the point? So table creation and default schemas and everything is going to handle by the Hibernate here. But so these are the configuration we need to write manually. So this is the difference between JDBC template and Hibernate template. And inside the JDBC template, we already discussed about the named parameter JDBC template. Getting the point. So we identify the difference between JDBC template and named parameter JDBC template here. Okay, so we'll find out the update here, because now we identified the save here. Now what we can do, we need to update the record here. So to update the record here, first what we can do, update the record here, first go to our main class here. This is all about our main class here. I don't want to create this particular employee object. For existing object only, we need to update the records here. So for this here, now what we can do, comment out here and okay, sorry, we can keep as it is here. Okay, Spring update here, only the name I want to update here. So remaining everything I want to use, copy and senior developer. Right, and what we can do, ID we need to specify something. We are having 2, I think, the 3. Getting the point. So we given as the ID as a 3 here. Now what we can do here, we'll go for the update employee and with help of this particular employee DO, update employee. Okay, here we are implementing update DO. If we observe here, now we are inside the update template here. So when we are calling this particular update template here, now what we can do, so we need to load the object. Based on the object, we need to update the particular record here. For this, now what I want to write, what is the entity we are trying to load? Something called ID. Okay, so this particular object we are going to get. This particular object we are going to get. After loading this particular object here, now what we can do? So we can update the existing record here. Employee code. Get employee code. So whatever the employee code we are giving from the main method, so we need to set as a same thing for the existing object here. Job role here. To set this particular job role here, and name here, sorry, and right. Now what we can do, again we can call this particular save employee, and we can pass load. We can pass load here. Now, what we are expecting here? What we are expecting here? Basically, so based on the same ID, we are loading an object here. After loading, we are trying to saving the same record here. Okay. Okay. For this, we need to understand the. We'll put a breakpoint here. We'll say while loading the object, we are getting an exception, or while saving, we are getting an object. We need to understand here. Okay. So the object is not yet initialized here. I know. Okay. So basically, we provided as a log, but here, which is expecting as a serializable ID. Okay. So here, so this also expecting serializable ID. Okay. Object is not loading. Okay. Could not initialize the proxy. Okay. We'll try to find out with our session factory. Basically, the object is not loaded properly. We'll try with the find method. Basically, the find method, it will try to return the list of employee objects here. and find here employee. Okay. Okay. So in the loop, we cannot update the record. Okay. So for this, okay. So this is all about the find query here. Now we'll try to understand here how it's going to work. Now if you observe here, the records are loaded here and it is inserted here. Now we'll understand here Spring underscore update here for the third record here. No. So it is not updated here. One more record is inserted here. So why one more record is inserted here? We are not inside the same transaction here. We are inside the different transaction here. For this, one more record is inserted here. So now to update the record here, now what we can do? Simply here we can go for the employee ID. ID we are having 3. New long 3 and we'll go for the employee DY MPL. And here what we will do, simply we'll call here Hibernate template, save or update here. Okay. Update is not returning any return value. It is a void here. Simply message we can return. go for the main class and we'll try to run with the same example one more time. Now you can see here update query here. Here we are having update query here. So there is no inserted query here. Getting the point. So this is very important. We need to understand here when we are trying to work for the Hibernate here. Now if you observe, the third record is updated here. String update here. Basically in the third record we are having only Spring here, but now it is updated with the Spring underscore update here. Getting the point. So this is all about the simple example on the Hibernate update here. And same way, so try to work on the get method. So we already identify the find here. So based on this particular find here, what we will do, we are going to call the, with the help of this like Hibernate template here, we'll call the find method to load the object here. Right? To delete the object here, now what we can do, so simply we are having a delete method here. Simply we are having a delete method. Now you can see, we'll go for the employee DOMPL. Hibernate template dot delete object here. So just we can provide the delete here. So the delete method, what it will do, it will try to delete the object from the database here. Okay. So just try to work on these two example here, delete and load method, because load already we identified here with help of the find here. So we'll return the same employee object information. Right here we are returning ID, but we need to specify the object here. So what is the object we want to return? The particular object we need to specify to read this particular object here. Getting the point. So any questions here? So the lazy session we'll see, because we need to write some more code here, because Hibernate template is giving a lazy initialization. So we'll work with the session factory to resolve this particular lazy initialization here. So other than this, any queries here? Sorry. Okay. Observe. So to delete this object here, now what we can do, we need to change all the parameter. Okay. Now right. So I change the parameters here with help of this particular. So delete method is returning void here. If any, like we don't have any exceptions here, now what we can do, simply we can return this particular message here. So successfully object is deleted from the database here. Okay. So which object we can delete, because we are having 5 records. So the duplicate to the 5 record is created here. Now we'll try to delete the 5 record here. Okay. Not null. Okay. So we are having not null constraints here. So we need to enable this here. So in the mapping document, we provided as a not null constraints here. So because of this particular not null constraints here, we are getting an exception here. Now you can see the record is deleted from the database here. So if I'm going to run the same query one more time here, the fifth record is not available here. Whatever the fifth record we are having, so the fifth record is not available here. Okay. This is the way we can work with Hibernate integration with Spring here. Now the final one, now what we can do inside this particular employee DOI MPL, I want to enable here. So I don't want to return. Okay. So message also we don't need here. Finally, find dot is empty. If it is not empty, now what we can do? Get off 0. It is not empty, we'll try to return the first record here. And so if it is empty, we'll returning null here. So whenever we are trying to returning null here, sorry, the object here, now what we can do? Here we need to work on I want to comment out all the section here. Service dot load employee. Now what we can do? So what is the ID we can specify here? We can work on the same 3 here. We can work on the same 3. It will return employee records here. Load employee dot job role. Find get name here. And get ID. So these are the records we are going to load from the database based on the okay, null pointer. Load employee we are getting null. So based on the 3, so we are having 3 here. Okay. We did not provide the reference here. So because of this we are getting null. Now observe. So these are the data we are trying to load from the database here. Getting the point. So this is very important. We need to understand the Spring with Hibernate integration. Okay. So if we don't have anything here, we'll try to continue tomorrow. The annotation related example. So based on the ID, the save or update method is going to work. If the ID is already existed in the database, it will try to update the remaining column. If the ID is not available in the database, it will try to insert the new record here. So this is only the difference between save or update method The save method, it will not check here whether the ID is available or not. If it is available, we'll get an error here. So save method, every time it will try to find out the unique value here. So what you want to see? So you want to see save or update or save method. So what you want to see? Okay. So we'll try to provide 3. Save employee. Okay. First we'll see third. Okay, we are having data. Okay. Sorry. The problem here, Hibernate is going to take care of the ID generation here. Getting the point. So here we need to focus one more thing. So I forget to explain here. Inside this particular, here we provide as a generator class increment here. So now what we are doing is we are trying to give the option to provide the Hibernate, the ID value here. So manually, if you provide also, Hibernate is not going to consider your ID value here. So because of this here, if you can see here inside this particular console, the next value is generated here. Next value. So this is nothing but whatever the current value we are having for this particular sequence here. Based on this particular sequence here, it will try to generate the next value. The next value is going to update into the newly inserted record. So for this here, we'll go to the Spring JDBC. Inside schema sequence here, now you can observe Hibernate sequence we are having, and the last value we use is 6 here, and starting value 1, minimum value we are increasing 1, and what is the max value? Up to this, the Hibernate is going to insert the value here. So every time, one by one, the value is going to insert it here. So who is going to create it here? It's created by Hibernate here, because we provided the generator as a increment here. So whenever we are providing the generator increment or native or sequence, whatever you are providing, so Hibernate will insert the record here. Okay. Now what we can do, we'll try to comment out here. So to comment out, maybe we need to recreate the table. Okay, first we'll insert one more record here. We'll see whether it is applicable or not. If it is not, we need to recreate the table structure. No. So the table we need to recreate here. No. So still it is working here. The same file we modified. So you need to remove the not null constants here. So just now we identified the not null constraint error. So because of the particular not null constraints here, we cannot update the specific records here. So once you remove the not null, you can insert the how many columns we want to update, we can update. But observe the create hyphen will go for the drop here. Maybe the tables are not dropped here. No. Okay. So the data is deleted, but still Hibernate sequence is working here. Now what we can do, I want to drop this particular Hibernate sequence here. So update, the sequence is dropped here. Now we'll find out the answer here, whether based on the manual ID is inserting. No. Okay. Okay, starting value 1. We'll go for the map document. Sorry, we are updating local file. Basically, here we need to update here. So we are having 2 files here. Now you can see there is no sequence here. Now we'll try to run the employee query here. 3 record. Okay. Again I'm trying to run one more time. Oh, sorry. Here we need to modify. Here we need to modify the table structure. So we don't want to recreate the table one more time. Now you can see, so whatever we are expecting here, duplicate key value, employee primary key. Based on this particular ID, the data is already existed here. So to find out the particular answer, we need to modify the lot of code here. So now we identify the how this particular generator is working here and how we can create the sequence here. Basically, this sequence is created by Hibernate here, but if you want to create here, you can create here. So how we can create here? This is the command we can use here. So create a sequence here, increment by 1, minimum value 1, maximum value. So based on this, the sequence is going to update the records here. Okay. So anyone having any questions other than this particular primary key? I want to delete this particular file. Okay. So we don't have anything here. So tomorrow we'll continue with the annotation example here. Now we identify the XML example here. So with the help of this particular XML, we implemented the code operations here. So try to practice on the remaining method which are available inside this particular the class called Hibernate DOMPL, Hibernate template. So try to find out the methods here, the different method like load method, get method, and so find method, get update like batch update. We are having different methods. So try to work on the different method here. So now if you're trying to work here, you'll get an understanding here how exactly the methods are working internally. Okay. So I will try to push this particular code into the repository here. Now I'm going to upload the code into the repository. Okay. So if you don't have anything here, we'll continue tomorrow.